Hello, everybody, and welcome to Check It Out, the monthly show about what's happening at the Bethel Park Public Library. I'm Mary Mullen.
And I'm Elaine Volpe.
And Elaine and I are here today in what is known as the Dog Days of Summer, right?
That's true.
Dog Days of Summer, to let our viewers know what is going to be happening in the library during the month of August. Which is sort of a scary thing to announce because
That we're already at the end of summer.
we are.
It's rather scary.
It is scary, and they often say, I've heard many people say that once 4th of July comes, they feel like summer is
all downhill
on
from
the
there.
on the downhill, and it does seem to be that way. It does.
I find that that's true.
It's true.
I think most people do.
Are your kids
So-
getting ready to go back to school?
They are, and they're excited, and that's kind of what I was going to talk about today, because August we don't do a lot of programming. That's kind of when we're on hiatus for a while. So I thought we'd do a little bit of back to school and some tips for back to school. My kids are ready to go, actually.
I always
Jerry starts middle school, so I think he's anxious to, to see what that's all about.
Usually about this time of the year, I became a strong advocate for year-round education because I felt that once August got there, the kids were frankly driving me crazy. Well, I only had the one, but all the kids in the
Neighborhood kids,
neighborhood kids. It was like these kids ought to be back in school because they were ready. They are ready.
Right.
So why don't you tell us about what you have about
Sure.
you share your back to school tips and what's
Okay.
going on in the children's department.
Very good. First, I wanted to talk about, do you remember in June, on our June segment, we talked about the importance of reading throughout the summer, and we informed our viewers that not reading may result in achievement loss, where if you're not reading those 15 minutes per day, you would be more likely to struggle once school resumed. So I'm happy to say that we had almost 1,000 people sign up for summer reading.
Well, that's wonderful.
And that's huge. That's great. And hopefully all those people who signed up are reading their 15 minutes per day. But I just wanted to congratulate everybody who signed up because that's quite an achievement. And you should be very proud of yourselves. And we are proud of you here at the library. So, and I also want to remind those participants to come in and cash your book bucks if you have not already done that. Because some of the prizes that we have in our store are limited. We don't guarantee that everything's going to be there for the duration of the program. It's kind of like when something's gone, it's gone. And there are some hot items, that are dwindling. So if you haven't cashed in your book bucks, come on in and do that as soon as possible. You have until August 19th, but I think the sooner you're going to have a bigger selection, the sooner you come in.
Right. If you've been eyeing a prize.
Right. You want to make sure that it's still there.
Right.
So come on in and get that done. But like I said, it's August, so most of our programming has stopped with the exception of Book Babies. That runs Thursdays at 10 a.m. year-round. But everything else is kind of dwindling down. But I do want to remind viewers of 2 upcoming August events, and those are the pool party on Friday, August 6th at 6 p.m. This is for anybody who has signed up for summer reading and their families. Bring the whole family and celebrate your accomplishments. Again, you should be very proud of yourselves. And I want to thank Kate Keegan and all of the YMCA staff over there for generously giving us the pool every summer. We really appreciate that. I also want to remind viewers of the upcoming bowling party on Tuesday, August 16th at 10 a.m. Again, this is if you participated in summer reading, you're automatically invited to attend, games and shoes included. Again, bring the whole family and celebrate your efforts. And thank you to Lynn Field and the entire AMF staff over there at AMF Lanes for graciously giving us the use of the alley every year. We appreciate it. So since I didn't have a lot of programming to talk about, I thought we could talk a little bit about going back to school. I think a lot of families are ready. Like my son's excited. I think a lot of parents get excited too because they're ready to have them out of the house. But I also think there's a lot of families who are saddened by the end of the summer. Or probably for most families it's a combination of the both.
Yes.
Of both feelings. But there are going to be some families out there, some kids I should say, who are a little nervous about starting school. Apprehensive. Especially the ones who are first starting school or the upcoming kindergartners.
Right.
Or if you're starting middle school. Or if you're transferring schools, if you're a new student. That can be a scary thing. So I pulled some of my favorite books, or books that I thought would be helpful to help deal with those feelings. This one's called The Night Before Kindergarten. Doesn't so much pinpoint, any of those fears, but it's just a fun read. It's a twist on, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas.
Okay.
It's just a fun little rhyming book. 'Twas the Night Before Kindergarten. This one does address those fears. Okay, if you're apprehensive about certain things, it's probably going to be addressed in this book. It's by one of my favorite authors, Antoinette Portis. She did the books Not a Stick and Not a Box, which are all about using your imagination. Love them. This is her book about kindergarten, and it's called Kindergarten Diary. Okay, so this is a good one. Welcome to Kindergarten by Anne Rockwell. Again, just kind of goes throughout the day. What can I expect when I go to kindergarten? What's my first day going to be like, or what's kindergarten in general going to be like?
Yeah, I think that's one of the scary things for kids. They
don't know what to expect.
They don't know what's going to happen.
The unexpected is very,
and it's
very
frightening
scary
for them.
The kissing hand is an old one, but a good one. I know a lot of teachers use this. This specifically addresses the separation anxiety they have, like leaving mom.
My son had that.
I did as a kindergartner. I can tell you a story. I struggled with that. My kids, not so much. They were off and
gone,
they didn't care. But I had a really hard time my first day of kindergarten. So The Kissing Hand is a really great book if your child's a little afraid of leaving you on that first day. Going to first grade can be a big transition because for a lot of kids, I know in Bethel and in our school district, kindergarten's still a half day. So when you go to first grade, you're
in school all day.
It's that full day for the first time, which can be quite a transition. So this one, Off to First Grade, is a good book. I love Nancy Carlson. She has a kindergarten one, and she has this one, First Grade, Here I Come. First grade jitters. I just found this one, actually. I didn't know we had this, but this seems to address all those things that you might be a little bit nervous about. And then for middle schoolers, too old for this, too young for that. Because sixth grade, like 11, 12-year-old, that is like a tricky. You're not old enough yet to do some of those. Sometimes you can't even participate like in the middle school sports yet. Like in our school district, football starts at 7th grade. So it's kind of like a very in-between. And I think that's the case for a lot of the organizations. You're not quite old enough, but you don't want to do that baby stuff either, So this is a cool book. Too old for this, too young for that. Middle school, how to deal. Okay, addresses all those concerns. I know locker combinations can be a scary thing. That's what I dreaded that.
Yeah, you forget
cafeteria. Who am I going to sit with? Because in elementary school, your teacher's still walking you down. You go down as a class and you sit at the 5th grade table. In middle school, no one's walking you to the cafeteria, and you might, I'm
sure it's very intimidating to walk in and you get a room full of kids. And
so that kind of deals with that and many other things. This one's an American Girl book. It's a Smart Girl's Guide to Starting Middle School. Those American Girl books are really, really good. They have a lot of, they cover a lot of topics. And then this one I wasn't as familiar with, but I went ahead and pulled it. Middle School, The Real Deal. So we do have some books available upstairs. For parents And
I know there's a children's book, and I wish I could think of the name of it, that is actually about a teacher. It's a picture book, but it's told from the perspective of the teacher who's afraid of starting their first day jitters.
Sure, because teachers get nervous too.
And it's really key. I wish I could think of the name of it, but it's really,
a picture book.
It's a picture book, and you really don't know. It's funny because it's like the husband's trying to get the wife out of bed, and you don't realize until the end of the story that she's a teacher and it's her first day of school, and it's a great story. It's a great story for people of all ages.
Right. I'll have to look for that one. I also wanted to share 5 tried and true back to school tips.
Okay.
I kind of interviewed librarians upstairs, teachers that I knew, and parents who have been through it.
Right.
And these were the top 5 tips that we came up with. Number 1, get your things ready the night before. I think this is a good one. Whether it be laying out your outfit and getting your clothes ready the night before, definitely getting your homework and packing your backpack and having that ready to go. Even lunches. I started packing my kids' lunches the night before.
Right.
And then that's ready to go too. So I think that's a good tip. Number 2, go to bed on time so you can get up on time. Because a lot of times it's hard to pull those kids out of bed. But a lot of times the case is, well, they went to bed an hour later.
Right.
And I let them stay up for their favorite TV show or whatever the case may be. So you kind of have to be strict with that bedtime so that it's not as difficult to get them up in the morning.
Right. I've read that you should really, the week before school starts, every night they should be going back.
I'm starting that next week in August.
Back to bed a little bit earlier each night so they get used to getting back into that school schedule rather than their vacation schedule.
Absolutely. Number 3 is a very important one. Eat a good breakfast. I'm guilty of this as a mom. I don't get up and cook. I don't know if you did, Mary, when your son was in school.
Well,
I don't make the eggs or the pancakes.
Oh, no. Well, we did cereal. I mean, my son wouldn't eat eggs
They're
anyway.
lucky. Sometimes I'll give them toast, but a lot of times I'm just throwing a granola bar at them as they leave the door, and that's not the healthiest thing. It is the most important meal of the day. That's been proven. I mean, everybody knows that. So you want to make sure you eat a good breakfast and get them started on the right foot. Number 4, have a designated time and place for homework. I think this is a good one. Whether you decide it's right after school or whether you decide it's after dinner, maybe they'll have their downtime, but then after dinner, they have to be ready to go. I think that's really important. And if you have a designated spot, if they don't have a desk in their room, maybe you sit at the dining room table every night. You want to make sure, obviously, that they're not listening to music or watching TV. Music really isn't that bad, because sometimes that can help kids, background music. But, you don't want to do it in front of the TV. Yeah, you don't want to be surfing the internet while you're doing your homework too. Have a spot and have a designated time. I think that's a huge one. And then number 5, be neat and stay organized. I think that's for anybody, for any age.
Right. Yeah. Those are good tips for all of us, for us
Absolutely.
working people
It's
too.
true.
Let me tell you, making my lunch the night before, deciding what I'm going to wear.
Yeah, but packing your backpack, not just even like keeping your room at home organized. It's just or whatever it may be, your school supplies, just keeping that all in one spot and organizing your papers, the papers that come home. Maybe some of them you can get rid of right away, but if you want to save them, have a folder and have a spot for that too.
And having that designated time for homework is important. Even my son was still in high school. My husband would look at him after dinner and he would say, "Is your homework done?" And my son, of course, was like rolling his eyes, like, "Dad, come on, I'm not a kid anymore." But it instilled in him the sense that there was a time that it was a priority. Sure. It was you need to make this a priority. You need to go upstairs now and get your homework done. Absolutely. So very, very important. So.
If I may add one, I just thought of this one myself. If you have an upcoming test, if you know, because a lot of times most teachers, I think, give them a schedule ahead of time, or they'll tell them a couple weeks, okay, chapter test is going to be on Friday, such and such. I think a lot of kids tend to wait till that night before. Oh, it's not for 2 weeks. I don't know. If you study a little bit every day, if you review what you learned that day in school, even if it's just for 10 minutes, that is huge in helping to prepare for that chapter test or whatever it may be. So review and study a little bit every day too.
Okay.
It's the same as reading. It's that magic number. I think 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Spend 15 minutes on each subject and you're good to go.
Yes, very true. All right. Well, those were all good tips. Thank you, Miss Elaine.
All right. Well, hopefully they'll help our viewers out there. But everybody, good luck going back to school. Have fun. Don't forget to visit us starting in September. I should mention that our fall flyer will be out in just a few short weeks, and we'll start all of our programming the same day that you guys start school, September 12th.
September 12th. Is that the first?
Is when all of our programs will resume. Right. And we have some really cool things, as always, lined up for you. So don't forget about us in the fall. I know you'll get busy and things will get crazy with the start of school, but don't forget to visit us here at the library.
Okay. All right. Well, let me spend a little bit of time talking about some of the adult programs. And it's true for the adult programming also. It will be a very quiet month during August, and we are getting ready for our fall schedule, which will be very busy come September, October, and November. Before I talk about the adult programs, though, I want to mark a milestone in one of our long-standing library programs, which is our homebound delivery. And I don't know if I've talked about homebound delivery recently, but we do have this service available to Bethel Park residents, and homebound delivery is there for you if you need it on a regular basis or even a temporary basis. If you can't get out of your home and you don't have anyone to get some library materials for you, we'll bring them to you. We deliver once a month on Wednesdays. And it could be people of all ages. I mean, right now we have all older adults, but we have delivered to a child one time who was recovering from surgery, that was kind of fun. But next month in August, one of our homebound patrons is turning 100. And I am so excited. It is a milestone. I've been doing this for 15 years, and this is the first time we have had a homebound patron achieve this wonderful anniversary of their birth. So first of all, a shout out to Grace Robinson, who is actually 100 years young. I had the opportunity to spend some time with Grace in April, and she's delightful, and she's still very passionate about her reading. Now, she listens because her eyesight isn't what it used to be, so she listens to books on CD. But and then I also have another group of 3 or 4 patrons who are all in their 90s. And this is really exciting. One of them, I'm sure, is going to be celebrating her 100th birthday within the next couple of years. And she's still avid quilter and loves her books.
That's wonderful.
It's wonderful. So
good for them.
Again,
and happy birthday, Grace.
Happy birthday indeed to Grace. And again, a reminder to everyone in the Bethel Park area that if you would like us to bring library materials to you, just give us a call here at the library and we'll get that set up for you. In terms of our programs, I just want to remind everybody about the end of the adult summer reading program, which is coming up. We have about
2 weeks left.
About 2 weeks left. We have about 2 weeks left in our program, and that still gives you opportunities to win one of our weekly prizes, and they will be either a Giant Eagle or a Shop and Save gift card in the next 2 weeks. And then all of your entries are eligible for our grand prize, which is a Bethel Park Library Beach Chair.
Ever popular library beach chair.
Ever popular.
How many years have we been giving that away?
I know, and they keep turning up. That's the part that amazes me. We still keep finding. Someone's like,
"It's a very nice gift." I have to say, I use mine all the time.
Yes, it is.
I really do.
It is a wonderful gift, but I'm always surprised that we can keep finding
yes.
beach chairs. Well, that's but it's a good thing. And that will be August 8th will mark the end of adult summer reading program. So you can still sign up. Make sure you're turning in your weekly entries, and maybe this year you'll be the lucky winner of the library beach chair. And then starting in August, we're going to be running our Flower Power fundraiser, which we have done in the past, and you can purchase bulbs to plant in the fall from August the 1st through September the 10th, and prices start at $10, and plants and bulbs will be delivered early to mid-October, and 50% of all the proceeds benefit the library. So what you have is you get a beautiful garden at home and you help out at the library. So Flower Power fundraiser starting August the 1st. And on August the 4th, which is a Thursday evening at 7 o'clock, we have a program, Pit Bull 101, which has sort of an interesting topic. And this is going to be presented by a local organization called Hello Bullies. And I was on the website the other day, and their mission is to rescue, rehabilitate, and repair the reputation of the American Pit Bull Terrier. And when I got on the website, they had these lovely pictures of these pit bulls. They were so sweet, and it was
rather. I mean, they do have a bad rap.
They do, and they do. And this is one of the things that they are going to address in this free program. And they're going to talk: is their reputation, is their somewhat negative reputation justified? So,
do you know anybody who has pit bulls?
I don't. But one of them was sleeping in a bed with his covers up and his head was on the pillow. It was as cute and precious as it can be. And I guess it's true of that particular breed as of true of any other breed. If they're mistreated and mishandled, they're going to behave badly. They're certainly going to behave badly. But that's Thursday, August the 4th at 7 p.m. The next day, August 5th, which is Friday, our Conversation Salon, which meets monthly, the first Friday of every month, we'll be getting together. And so if you would like to come in for some lively discussion, and there's plenty going on in the news, by then we'll see whether or not the government has raised the debt ceiling or not. If not, we can, do the pros and cons of that topic. So Friday, August the 5th at 10 o'clock, our Conversation Salon. In August, later on in August, our Wise Walk program will be resuming again. Our library walking group meets on Thursday mornings, and we walk in South Park at 9:30. And this is a 10-week walking program for adults 50 plus. And our kickoff meeting will be here at the library on Thursday, August 25th at 9:30, and then after that we'll be walking in the park. I'm starting a little bit earlier this year. That way we will be done by the end of October because November gets a little chilly.
It gets iffy.
It gets a little
never know what the
iffy.
weather's
It's chilly in the morning in November. So even if you are away, I know a little early before Labor Day, you can join the program at any point. So even if you're not ready to start walking with us before Labor Day, you can come and be part of our group after Labor Day. So good to know. Let's see what else. Oh, I thought we'd give just a very short fall preview because we have a couple of things coming up very early in September. On Thursday, September 1st at 6 o'clock, we're going to be having a program entitled Understanding Memory Loss, and this is from the Alzheimer's Association. And, this program is for those people who are kind of wondering, is this normal as we get a little bit older and we somewhat feel that we're getting somewhat forgetful and we begin to wonder. So if you have a friend, a family member, a spouse, and you're wondering if this is normal or is it a sign of something more serious, this program will answer that question. They'll also have a discussion about the difference between Alzheimer's and dementia and just the warning signs to look for. So that's Thursday, September the 1st at 6 o'clock. And then we also have a program on, let's see what the date is on this one, Wednesday, September the 7th at 7 o'clock. We have a program about the amazing monarch butterfly. And apparently we have a local woman here in Bethel Park, her name is Sue Means, who raises monarch, I'm going to try and spit that out, monarch butterflies, and she's going to be here to talk about them. And they have one of the most unusual migrations because monarch butterflies migrate like birds. They are here north in the summertime, and then they go south in the wintertime. But one thing I learned, because I was just trying to get some information, is it's not the same generation of butterflies.
And I forget where I was that I learned that. I heard a woman speak about this. It was at some kind of convention a couple years ago, but I learned the same thing. It was fascinating because I knew too much about them at all. But
I knew they migrated long distances. What I didn't realize is that because their lifespan is so short,
right,
that actually it's a different generation, but they always come back to the same place
Which
every
is fascinating.
year. It is fascinating.
Yeah.
They come all the way from here, from this area, and they go to Mexico and California, and the females lay eggs on the way, and then these eggs hatch, and then the next generation knows to come back.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It is amazing. And I know that there's a particular plant that people should put out in their yards and in their gardens, and I'm going to think of the milkweed. Milkweed, I think it's milkweed, which is a wildflower. And that is a plant that will attract them. And so if you want to have monarchs in your backyard, plant some milkweed. So that's going to be Wednesday, September 7th at 7 p.m. And then finally, one last thing, I'll talk more about this at the end in our August program. The Bethel Park Library is going on a road trip.
Yay!
Yay! We are going on a road trip. The Pittsburgh History and Landmarks Foundation offers free guided walking tours downtown, at different locations downtown. And I sort of found this by accident. And I thought to myself, well, what a great idea, because we're right on the T line. So on Friday, September the 16th, we are going to join the organized tour, which will meet downtown at noon at the Renaissance Hotel. And it's a Pittsburgh Bridges and North Shore tour. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have people come here to the library at 10:30. And then we'll get on the T at 11. And when we get downtown, then we have a couple blocks we have to walk. And then we'll join the group at noontime in front of the Renaissance Hotel. So everybody's going to keep their fingers crossed for two things. Sunshine, and the tea doesn't break down. So we're on time. So circle your calendar for Friday, September 16th, because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And the tour is free. So all you're going to need is your tea fare. So that's what's coming up. And of course, as always, our regular programs will be continuing to meet in August. All of, Pinochle, Scrabble, Button Club, knitting, our writers group, our book groups, everything will all be going on in August. So if you need any more information, of course, that you can give us a call. You can
click on our website.
And better yet, you can come in and see us. And before we leave, in fact, I don't want our viewers to leave because we have a very special guest today here. We're going to welcome Shelley Wolf, who's the manager of the Bethel Park Farmers Market. And I brought a couple things along to kind of get.
See that.
I brought some good, interesting things. First of all, I want to say that we had a patron in the library right around the time the farmers market got started this year who said, "I didn't know we had a farmers market in Bethel Park." So I thought this is a great time of year to talk about the farmers market because I was there yesterday and all of the good stuff.
A lot of good finds.
Oh, it's all of the fresh produce is coming in.
Yeah, you can't beat it.
You really can't. And there's been a lot of interest, I think, in people to shop locally, to eat healthier, to eat locally, buy food that is been grown and that hasn't come from across the country or across the ocean or from whatever, but it's been grown just almost down the street. And there are a large number of cookbooks now that help us once you get it home. And I brought my little bag along. I've got my little shopping bag. Yesterday, one bag didn't do it. I needed two yesterday because there was so many good things that I bought. But once you get all that good stuff home, it's, well, what do I do with it, right? Right. And so I brought a couple of cookbooks along to show. This is a Williams-Sonoma cookbook. This is Cooking from the Farmer's Market. It's a beautiful cookbook, and I got a page marked here because I found a recipe that I liked. But this is a nice cookbook because it includes recipes, but also talks about what to look for when you're buying it, and also how to store it after you get it home, which is important. This is a brand new one. This is called a White House Garden Cookbook. And as you know, our First Lady, Michelle Obama, is a strong proponent of healthy eating for children. And she is the first lady to plant a garden in the White House since Eleanor Roosevelt had a victory garden during World War II. So they have a kitchen garden in the White House, and I found a recipe in this book from the Pittsburgh area, believe it or not. I just happened to be going through it today. It has some recipes from community garden programs across the country, including one called Grow Pittsburgh, which is an edible schoolyard program. I didn't know anything about it.
Never heard about it.
I did not either. And it has a nice recipe for a spring salad in there. And finally, this is another nice one. This is Fresh from Central Market Cookbook. And this is from, I believe they are one of the oldest farmers markets in the country, and this is in Lancaster County. And I went to school in eastern Pennsylvania in Amish territory, and let me tell you, the food was terrific. When I started in college, they were still making their own breads, and in our college cafeteria, it was wonderful. And shoe fly pie. Have you ever had shoe fly pie?
You actually tasted shoe fly pie?
Oh, it is wonderful.
Really?
It's not good for you. I have to admit, it's not maybe one of the healthier things, but oh boy.
What is in shoe fly pie?
Molasses.
I'm always curious.
It's molasses. I know what that's one of the main ingredients is molasses, and it's chewy and sweet, and it's delicious. But on Saturdays, the Amish would come into town in their horse and buggies, and you could hear that.
Neat.
It was neat. It was wonderful. But this again, wonderful recipe. So, and also as you can see, and I think Shelley and I, the three of us are going to talk about this. I have a plate. Do you know why I have a plate, Miss Elaine?
Why do you have a plate?
I have a plate because the United States government has issued their newest set of dietary guidelines. And, you know, in the past, we talked about the food pyramid, right? And they decided that we needed a simpler way of representing how we should eat. And they chose something that all of us are very familiar with, which, of course, is
Dinner plate.
A dinner plate, and they actually have a website. It's called choosemyplate.gov, and this is a very simple way of helping you to understand how you should put a meal together, and it's very simple. You're going to take your plate and you're going to divide it in half. The top part you divide in quarters. That's your protein and your grains. Then the bottom part is your fruits and vegetables. Your fruits and vegetables. And I think that's a challenge for a lot of people to eat in that fashion, because most people do not fill half of their plate with fruits and vegetables.
No,
when you think about it.
Now let me ask you this: where does the dairy come in?
The dairy's on the side. They have a. I'll put my plate down. We'll show this, and as you can see, the dairy is sort of to the side on this plate. So you include your dairy, and but your plate. So from now on, everybody,
I have to remember that.
Half of your plate, fruits and vegetables. So we want to encourage everybody to stay tuned, because Shelley Wolf will be here with us. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Bethel Park Farmers Market, and you're going to find out a good way of adding those fruits and vegetables by buying them right here in the Bethel Park area. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
President Roosevelt signed the Bill of Rights.
I've always appreciated the American Legion.
My gratitude to the American Legion.
Thank you all of the American Legion.
We have millions of veterans that are members of our organization.
Thank you.
The American Legion, celebrating a legacy of service to America. Find out more at legion.org.
Welcome back, everyone, to Check It Out. And as you can see, we are here with our very special guest for today, Shelley Wolf, who's the manager of the Bethel Park Farmers Market. And not only does our set look good,
It smells good.
it smells
good in
delicious.
here.
Welcome,
It's fresh.
Shelley.
Thank you so much.
We're
I brought a basket of goodies for
She
Bethel
did.
Park to see.
Oh, it's wonderful. And all our viewers, if you have not been to the farmers market, you're going to get just a wonderful idea of the wonderful things that are available at our farmers market. And as I mentioned earlier, we did have a patron in the library who had no idea. He was a Bethel Park resident. He said, I didn't know we had a farmers market in Bethel Park. So why don't you give our viewers, first of all, the nitty-gritty.
Okay.
The date, time, and place. That's always important.
We are at 5151 Park Avenue every single Tuesday from May through October. This year we run through October 18th. Every Tuesday from 3 to 7 p.m. We start promptly at 3. I ring a bell in a kind of classic tradition of farmers markets across the United States. Actually, I have sleigh bells, but that sort of puts us in mind of how winter will be coming soon. So I ring the sleigh bells, and the vendors know that they are allowed to begin vending to the public, and we run clear to 7 o'clock at night. And if you don't know where that is, that's basically in the parking lot of the community center, and it's right near the Schoolhouse Arts, where everyone in Bethel knows the landmark of the trolley that's there. So that's where we operate out of. And we do run rain or shine, and we've had both. This year we had a lot of rainy weather in May.
I was going to say, early on it was tough going, I imagine.
In fact, the first week I was there with 6 layers of clothes and my mittens on. So now we have the fortune of having the sunshine, and all the fruits and vegetables are on full flower now. So that's why I brought this great big basket of goodies to show you what's there.
Okay. How did you get involved with the farmers market?
I had a part-time job feeling that I just wanted to get back into the workplace a little bit, and a friend of mine knew that the position was open. I went up and talked to Kathy Moscato, who is the director of that building, of the community center, and she hired me to do this. I had never done anything like this before in the past, and I thought, let's see what happens. So I began calling people to increase the number of vendors to fill out the parking lot. And I realized that I was going to get about 50 no's for every yes that I got. And I'm kind of a determined person, so I thought, well, I have to get 50 no's. So I'd keep checking them off and checking them off, and then finally would find a vendor who would say yes, and then began adding on that. And then once the word got out, vendors wanted to come, and then the public started to want to come too. And then the first year that I managed it, we were lucky enough to win the Best Farmers Market in Allegheny County contest, which I think is really terrific for a first-year farmers market.
Rookie farmers market.
So I learned by trial and error, and we have some just amazing vendors who, quite frankly, I've come to deeply respect how hard some of these people work for their dollar, for their efforts. These are true family farmers. These are true local family farmers. The three of them who sort of anchor the farmers market, it's been a delight to get to know them. I've learned so much about how to grow things, about weather, about fluctuations in their business and how they survive. Most of the fruit and vegetables, quite frankly, is picked at about 11 o'clock in the morning of the day that you purchase it, which is unlike any other experience that you're going to have shopping for fruits and vegetables. And I know you mentioned on the plate earlier that the recommendations are that we eat more fruits and vegetables, and what better way to get them locally than to come up to the farmer's market and to let your family know that what you're putting on the table has been purchased and bought the same day. And you can actually speak to the people who plant from seed to the corn and know if there are chemicals on it, how it's been processed, when it's been picked. You can ask questions about the fruit and vegetables directly to the person who put it into the land, which I think is really terrific.
And sometimes you get samples.
Yes.
And that was my experience yesterday.
Yes.
I sampled yellow plums.
Okay.
And the gentleman asked me if I'd like to have a taste, and I said, okay. Now, plums are okay.
Right.
It's not one of my favorites. I eat them, but my husband loves them. Okay. And I said, well, all right, let me try that. And I became an instant plum lover on the spot because it was ripe and it was sweet. And it's not like having to buy it the way I normally do and then let them ripen.
Right.
You know, these were plums I could take home and eat right away.
And eat right away, exactly. And if you do need information about how to store them, how to best keep them throughout the week, those farmers understand their product, and you don't have that when you go to a regular grocery store. You have a person standing right in front of you who will tell you how to prepare it, how to deal with it, how to clean it, how to make sure that it's presentable and ready for your family.
So why don't you, since you brought your basket, why don't you talk a little bit?
Yes, we can go shopping through the
Let's go yes, we're going to take a little shopping trip here.
We have everything from, well, I'll show you the cheese first. This is Riverview Dairy cheese that has been brought to us by one of the vendors by the name of the Cheesemonger. And Dan brings Amish cheese to us. This is done locally. This is up around Edmonton, PA. And then he has local cheese from Emerald Valley Farms as well. So this is local cheese made from local cows that are grazing on our local pastures, and it's just absolutely delicious. Absolutely delicious. And you can sample, he will let you sample everything down there. He has, and I think he has a yogurt drink as well, and sometimes has salads too, some local Amish salads. So he's the cheesemonger, and the big, he has the great big unit that he deals out of, that he vends out of. It has, he has refrigeration in there. Everything's kept chilled and beautiful. And
that's one of the things that I have tried, and it was delicious.
The cheese.
Okay, I haven't tried the cheese. Okay, that's on the to-do list.
And of course we have, this is from, this is called Terrific Tuscan Spice Mix, and this is from Evelyn's Elegant Edibles. And Evelyn is new to us this year. She is a vendor who prepares all these different spice mixes. I think this is another one here. This is a meatloaf mix that you can add to your basic meatloaf for your family. And I've talked to some people who've tried these, and I was on a mission yesterday for somebody who could not make it to the farmer's market, but wanted this product very badly and was begging me, could you please pick this up for me? I said, of course. So I went shopping. So this is going right to a Bethel Park resident as soon as I leave here today, because these are great for making all different kinds of meals from. And she, again, has samples. I don't know if you made it to her booth yesterday or not.
I did yesterday. When it was the first time that I had purchased, I'd heard of the products.
Okay.
And the first time I'd purchased it, and Evelyn and I had a nice little chat because I bought, she has soup mixes.
Yes.
And she had a stuffed pepper soup mix, and I told her that my husband and I had purchased some at a local grocery store whose name I will not mention. And we opened up the container, and I poured it into the pan to heat it, and I'm like, there's nothing here. We couldn't find the rice.
Right.
We couldn't find the meat.
Right.
It was very strange because we had bought it before, and it was usually pretty good. So she said, not to worry, you'll never go back to that store after you have for stuffed pepper soup after you've had mine. And she, she talked to me about what was in the package, and then how to, what I would need to mix in with it, and that it would make a lot, but it freezes very beautifully. So I'm looking forward to tasting that.
One of the things I like about her product, and that it was really convincing to me that we should have her as a vendor, is that you can see everything in here. Unlike some other soup mixes that you get that have the picture of the end product, this you can see the ingredients that you will be serving to your family, and all the ingredients are on the back, and everything is listed there for you. So that's Evelyn's Elegant Edibles. We have certainly some of the best peaches right now that are in season. Now these happen to be Chambersburg peaches that are coming in that Kevin Kern, his family farm, is bringing in. His peaches, he told us, would be ready next week.
Okay.
So we're excited about that because there's nothing quite like Chambersburg peaches.
They are good. They are
delicious.
Chambersburg peaches are good.
And these are some beautiful tomatoes that I purchased at Simmons, Bob Simmons, who has the big farm out on 19. Again, a huge family farm effort. Many of his children are there. When you're handing over your money to them, it's to his kids. They're working the farm for their summer job. And that's the other thing that the farmers market does too, is that it provides a lot of the young people with summertime jobs because they come up there and they work our farmers market as well as others. So, and there's nothing, in my estimation, there's nothing like the smell of a great tomato in the middle of summer. Nothing else smells like that. You can smell the rain and the sunshine that, from Western PA right here. There are peppers, just gorgeous peppers. Waiting for the stuffing mixes, I'm sure, to come in so that people can fill this up. And, if you're very creative, you can get the books from the Bethel Park Library and find some great recipes to put your meal together for your family for that night. We have these wonderful homemade chips. The vendor by the name of Just Nuts, who serves fresh roasted nuts right on the premises. She'll make them for you. This year she began bringing pierogies, haluski, and guacamole, and some salsa. And
My favorites.
and you get a bag of these as you leave, and she makes these herself.
Okay.
Which is kind of
I
cool.
I've sampled the nuts, but
The pierogies are doing quite well. She's had a real good business in pierogies this year. We also had a brand new vendor, and the reason this is part way down is because I was tempted, and I actually I did have some of this. This is called Blackberry Balsamic Vinegar.
Oh, yum.
That's the reaction that she gets. You can hear people down at her booth. This is a brand new vendor for us. She will not be here this coming week, but she'll be back again the following week. It's called Pasta More. And she has amazing dipping sauces, amazing different citrus balsamic, raspberry balsamic. The interesting thing that she surprised me with is she said, you can put that on ice cream. I thought, balsamic vinegar on ice
a couple
cream.
Weeks ago would have thought of it, but the Market District has a new gelato bar, the local one, and they had strawberry balsamic gelato. Sounded very odd. I sampled it. It was delicious. There you go. Now you can make it at home.
So I would challenge the residents of Bethel Park to put it on ice cream, come back and find me at the market. I'm there every Tuesday, and let me know. This is delicious, by the way, this blackberry. The other night I put it on a little bit of salmon and some fresh roasted asparagus. And it was,
delicious.
The house smelled wonderful. My dog was looking at me like, could I taste it? It's just absolutely a delight. And let's see, we have, of course, the corn is in full season now. And this was grown near Finleyville, so this is terrific. This is like we don't have to worry about how long this has been in a railroad car coming across the United States. We have the great benefit of finding local product to enjoy locally. And let's see. Oh, I have, this is made as gifts. She brings us, this particular one is cinnamon raisin instant oats. This is a woman that runs a small company who was very discouraged by what she was seeing in the cereal boxes on the ingredient list and said, I can do better. and she began making her own. You basically serve this the same way you would other products, but you can rest assured that the what is in here is not overly done with sugar. It's not that, it's not the basic product that's a little too unhealthy for kids. But this is a mother trying to make a business run, and I'm a big fan of local people becoming entrepreneurs and deciding that they want to see how far the market can take them. So this is made as gifts, and she is there with us.
And Elaine and I talked about the importance of a good breakfast, right?
Yes, exactly.
And
this would fit the bill.
And that's nice because that's cinnamon raisin instant oats. And if your kids maybe are not oatmeal eaters, the sweetness of the cinnamon and the raisin they might find very, very appealing.
We entice them.
It's working on me at this point.
And then these are, I have 3 of these in here. These are organic soaps that have been made by, it's a company called Sozen. This one happens to be thyme. This one is, I need my reading glasses on. What is that?
That's blood orange.
Blood orange soap.
That's interesting.
And that one
pink
is
grapefruit,
pink grapefruit soap.
which I would love.
These are all locally made and organically put together by Cindy and Jeff Grant, who run a company called Sozen out of Washington, PA. And they also have these beautiful jewels that they sell at the farmer's market. And one of the edicts that I had, one of the rules that I had to follow about putting the vendors together is that things had to be not necessarily organic, but earth-related in some fashion. We didn't want it to be a craft show per se, or an art show. And the rule of thumb that we're looking at here is that these are all natural earth stones. So Cindy works with those. These are actually opals and different shells that she puts together. So this is all very much a hands-on business for them. So, and I'm kind of a jewelry person, so
And they are beautiful.
they are
They're
beautiful.
Gorgeous.
They are
And what
beautiful.
great gift ideas, too.
I was going to say,
soaps, the jewelry for
I've
birthdays
given
or
the-
housewarming.
I've given the soaps as a gift. The other thing that, and I don't know if I saw it yesterday, that they sell, and it's lovely. It is a candle, and it is a lotion candle.
Yes, that
And
was
you-
Cindy and Jeff.
And
yes,
you
it's
light
Sozen.
it, you light the candle, and you can, as it melts, you can actually pour what's melted on your hands
Yes.
and rub it in, and it makes a wonderful hand lotion, and the fragrance is just wonderful.
And she has lip balms
Lip balms
and room sprays as well that she
so-
uses.
And
with that.
as Elaine said, they make wonderful gifts. I did a lot of people got the candles last year at Christmas time, and I went every week, and I would buy a few more, and I tucked them away, and I kept finding them in boxes later on, but they were there when I wanted them, and it until you actually experience the
melting of it,
the
right.
feeling of it, because
Right.
instinctively you would not want something hot
right.
on your hands, but this is warm, and it just goes right
It's very
in.
soothing.
Very soothing, very comforting. It's just wonderful, just wonderful.
And we have other vendors that I couldn't bring their product today. We have Mr. Wu's Hawaiian Shaved Ices, and he has, I think it's 27 flavors, and there are 2 because I begged him to bring sugar-free. So there are 2 that are actually sugar-free, strawberry and cherry. And we have Jim Allen's kettle corn. So you'll hear they do the big kettle on the premises, and you can hear them firing it up, and the kernels fly everywhere.
Yeah,
and
that's very popular with my kids.
Yes, I'm sure. I'm
Always
sure he has
leave
the
the
little
bag of
bags and the
popcorn.
big bags. Loafers Breads are there.
Yes.
Scott Roach with Loafers Breads. He does a really nice job, and he gets up. If you sat and talked to him, his schedule's crazy. He gets up like at 3:30 every morning to bake that beautiful bread to bring it to us. Many times when he opens the truck, it's actually still warm in there because those loaves have
Wow.
not, they've not cooled off completely yet. So you're
Oh.
getting really beautifully presented and beautifully done homemade breads. And we have McElhaney's Family Farm.
Oh, one of my
Okay.
favorites. I love their chili.
They are just the salt of the earth people. I love having them at the farm. I have learned so much about cows and how they conduct themselves out in the pastures, and how they know where to go to get the water, and how much water it actually takes to keep a cow going to market. Their beef is all chemical free, and so I'm a vegetarian, so I haven't sampled it. I have family members who sampled the grillers, the breakfast grillers that they sell.
I haven't tried that.
and they have maple flavored, I think, and maybe, I'm not sure if it's ginger flavored. And then they also have an assortment of steaks that are really amazing. And my friends who've eaten it said it tastes unlike other meat that you buy in the grocery store because it doesn't have that sort of chemical taste to it. It is really a different experience. And we have Susan Carl, who has bread spreads by Susan, and she has jams and jellies. This year she caused a sensation at the market because she had violet jelly.
Violet jelly.
She went out and picked violets on her property and reduced them down and made violet jelly, and it was gorgeous to look at.
Did you taste any? Did you have?
I didn't taste that. People told me it was very sweet, and it tasted like what you would imagine violets might taste like.
Well, now I'm going to have to imagine how I think a violet would taste.
And she
like.
also makes like zucchini breads and pumpkin breads, sort of the vegetable-based breads. And
I have tried those, and those are very good.
Very good.
I've tried
very
that.
good.
The zucchini bread, we've had
we
that
have,
at home.
Joyce's Copper Kettle. She serves fudge. I don't know if I need to talk about it. She has an amazing assortment of flavors, and it's all homemade and all freshly done and beautifully presented. And she's just a delight. She's been on, I think she told me yesterday that she's been doing this for 20 years, doing the farmers market circuit. So she's a real pro at what she's doing. And let's see, I have a cookie lady. Everybody calls her the cookie, Lisa Betchworth, Mark's Famous Cookies. And she makes, in addition to a huge assortment of cookies, she also makes what's called a good-for-you cookie, which is made of, I think there's molasses in there. You mentioned molasses earlier. Molasses and flaxseed. It's in it.
And flaxseed is very good for you.
It's very good for your digestion and very good for us. So we have the cookie lady, and then I'm trying to think of who else I might be missing. We have a pasta gentleman who, Calafante's Pasta. He brings pizza shells, homemade pasta, and beautiful sauces, all different sorts of flavored sauces. He has frozen gnocchi. I think he has like a pumpkin gnocchi and a whole different variety of that type of material. So I'm trying to think of who else. I have to think about how I set them up. Let me take a quick look here. I think and Pita Land. Pita Land does a great job of bringing us the gyros. They'll make the sandwiches for you right there. They have stuffed grape leaves. They have hummus, baba ganoush, tabbouleh. So if you're feeling very exotic and Mediterranean sometime, and you want to put that on your plate, that's a lot of vegetables to fill up our quota of the vegetables on the plate. And we have Tom Cernetic, who has hot dogs, etc. He brings pulled pork sandwiches, chicken barbecue. He has the hot dogs. He has something that was new to me, but apparently all the kids in Bethel knew about it, called walking tacos.
Oh, popular with the baseball games.
See,
that's concession stand food. I'll tell you what, they're really good.
What is a
Very good.
Tell us what is a walking taco?
I'm sure there are more technicalities to it than I can remember, but he takes a bag of Fritos chips, dumps in some chili or pulled pork, and then puts some cheese on top of it. And I guess the real fun is that you crunch it all up.
Crush up the chips before you do it.
And so you walk away with the bag and a spoon, and you eat it, and then you're done with it.
Okay.
So he sells an enormous amount of walking tacos. And he just recently started he took a banana pepper, stuffed it with sausage, put cheese on it, put his great sauce on top of it, put it in a Kaiser roll, and he only brought 7 of them, and he sold them very quickly.
Sure he did.
We were trying to figure out if we should have a contest to name this new sandwich.
New
sandwich.
That is an unusual sandwich. I have to think about
it
that
is,
with the banana pepper
banana
inside the
peppers.
Kaiser roll.
The people who ate it said it was absolutely wonderful. And you mentioned sampling before, too. The other thing that you can do is come to the farmer's market, and adults only can have a sample of wine. We alternate different wineries each week. We have Plum Run Winery and C.T. Miller Winery. Plum Run, they're more fruit-based wines from his local grapes and a lot of the fruits that he grows. And then C.T. Miller has more standard tabled wine, but you can absolutely sample, have a little less than 1 ounce. There are a lot of rules with that, but we follow them.
And you have the Spring House, too.
The Spring House, absolutely. They are the restaurant that is out around 84 PA. A lot of folks from Bethel go out there for their dinner, and this way they bring it right to us. They usually bring an assortment of salads, green bean salad, a potato salad, and like
Pasta salads.
Pasta salads. They bring an enormous variety of things, and they change it up weekly. And they're the most delightful young women. The other thing they bring that's very nice is that they bring milk from their cows. So those of you who are looking for local milk brought in weekly, it will be there. And they keep it icy cold. It's in a big barrel, and it's ready to go. A lot of people do standing orders with some of these vendors, too, so that they know, for Mrs. So-and-so or Mr. So-and-so, I have to bring 3 gallons of milk. And it's fine if you want to call them ahead of time and put in an order. They will bring the product to you. And we have one other farmer that comes, Paul Zibrotowski from Paul's Orchard. Paul tends to focus a little more on beautiful berries. He brings blackberries and blueberries. And I had some beets yesterday that just looked gorgeous. He has honey. And so we have a big variety.
Yes, he was the gentleman that let me sample the yellow plums.
Okay.
And I bought blueberries from him yesterday. And those blueberries, they are flat out the best I've had this year.
Is that right?
No question about it. I got them home and
they're really wonderful.
it was like, one of these sinky kind of sort of things. I just stood at the sink and I just washed and I say, no, I'm not going to eat any more. And then I washed some more off and then I was just with the blueberries. They were
Well, that's
terrific.
why we're there every week, because we know you're going to go through this so quickly.
Right. I'm lucky they made it to this morning.
That's right. You have to do your
the way I
countdown.
was going at them last night.
yes.
So, and why don't you talk a little bit about you said you have a ballot.
Yes.
I know, and you mentioned that the farmers market has already won an award, but
We did, and we are always up for a good contest. So Edible Allegheny Magazine is, they're sponsoring their contest again. And if you go to contest@edibleallegheny.com and tell them why you would vote for Bethel Park Farmers Market as the best farmers market in Allegheny County, if you can do that, what they will do is give you a free year subscription to their beautiful magazine.
oh well, wonderful.
So whether we win or not, you're the winner because you get the
Yes.
free subscription to the magazine, and it really is quite a beautiful.
Yes,
product.
I have seen that magazine. Oh, how nice!
So I hope people do. We have these ballots at the rec department as well, and they can pick them up over there at the community center.
Sounds great. Sounds great. Well, I want to thank Shelley for coming in today. It was wonderful
Thank
talking
you.
to you.
Thank you.
And the beautiful basket. And you really can go to the farmer's market and just buy everything you need for your dinner.
For a complete meal.
Complete meal. You can go shopping, then you can bring it all home and prepare it and eat it right on the spot. You've got
Absolutely.
You literally do have soup to nuts, right?
We have soup to nuts. We do. Yeah, when you think
have
about it, A to Z
everything.
and soup to nuts.
A to Z, there's everything is there. So I want to encourage our viewers to stop by at the farmers market next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
And then running, as you said, through October 18th.
is our last
Okay.
day.
And that is a sad day. It is a sad Tuesday when it comes to
Comes to an end.
Comes to an end. Do you think you're going to do last year? I didn't. I know we talked about it before you did it, but not afterwards. You had kind of an indoor thing.
We had a close to Thanksgiving. We had a
Yes.
smaller version of the farmers market
that
up in the upper
indoors?
parking lot.
Oh, it was
No,
outdoors.
it was outdoors. It was
Okay.
outdoors, and we haven't discussed that yet. We'll be talking to
Was
the
that
vendors and see.
did you consider that successful?
I
day?
did. I did. It was a great day. It was a little different than a regular farmers market because we just had a small sampling of different vendors. And not
Okay.
everybody could make it, but those vendors who were supplying things for the Thanksgiving meal were really available, and they showed. It was the week before Thanksgiving, so folks came up and got things for their Thanksgiving meal.
That's great. Well, I hope you guys do that again because it's a great idea. Again, thanks to Shelley.
Thank you.
And
Thank you very
again,
much.
to all of our viewers in Bethel Park, I hope to see you at the farmers market next Tuesday. And Miss Elaine and I will be back next month. We'll see you then. So long.